Hello, welcome back. Last time I built a dodgy security device with lots of vulnerabilities in it, and it produced the most interesting graphs that I've seen in this game so far. This one has a wide variety of solutions with no consensus of how to do it, which is pretty neat. I like that. I'm hoping I see more of this as the game goes on. Shenzhen I is the point of it all. What's the name of the person who sends these? Tilly. What's her last name? Or do I just know her as Tilly? So I've talked about the scale of things here, the capacity in all of these factories and ports and markets, and I've asked, where's all this, going? Not to get all existential on you, but it's an important issue and one that tends to crop up after big economic strides. In some sense, yay, we did it! After a lot of hard work and sacrifices, we've secured a hugely important place in the world. So now what? Call me some kind of nutter, but engines of creation like these, the ones we have here, just haven't existed before at this scale. It's only now dawning on us what could be done with them if we started coordinating them all. What if someone with some imagination were to start doing that? Putting the whole city to work on something together. What could you build that way? Something gigantic and amazing, or something gigantic and scary? Maybe a bit of both? Let's ponder on that one for a bit. Alright, so she wants to think big. Deep sea sensor grid. We've entered into an agreement to produce some deep sea sensing equipment for a complete ocean monitoring system. Is this another Sun Haotian thing? Each station will have passive sonar and magnetic anomaly detection sensors recording continuously, along with a radio uplink for remote review. This probably goes without saying, but these need to be robust and reliable. This does not sound like Sun Haotian to me. He does more like urban planning sort of stuff, it sounded like. Am I allowed to ask who these are for? You're allowed to ask. Who are these for? Sun Haotian. Okay, yeah, so he's doing a big thing, of course. So we got like an actual story going on here. This is interesting. Deep sea sensing equipment, ocean monitoring systems, passive sonar, magnetic anomaly detection sensors, recording continuously, radio uplink. So we're working with the whatever it is, CQS 4501 or something. I never remember the exact set of letters and numbers that make up the name of this thing. Got some kind of security key here. ID number of sensor assembly. Passive sonar, magnetic anomaly detector. Sonar is a simple input connected to a passive sonar sensor. Simple. Magnetic is a simple input connected to a magnetic anomaly detector. Simple. Radio RX is a non-blocking X-bus input connected to a radio receiver. Receiver. Okay, so read data from that. Radio TX is connected to radio transmitter. When a data packet is received over the radio that specifies the ID number of this sensor assembly, respond with the 6 most recent sensor readings, including the current from the requested sensor in order from oldest to most recent. Okay. So what I'm seeing here, what immediately comes to mind is 100p14. One dude connects to this side of it and writes to these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, ain't that convenient? I got room for a terminator too. Other side connects to the other one connects to the other side. Oh, the problem with that. I lose any automatic ring buffering. So yeah, this feels like a big trade-off between, well, this probably wouldn't save me any cost. I would need a lot more instructions and likely more microcontrollers if I wanted to use both sides of the same 100p14, so it's likely to be cheaper to just put 2 on and have one for sonar readings and one for magnetic readings. What? Oh right, wrong ID number. So 912. 846 is what this is going to output, so 846 is this one. One is sonar, 2 is magnetic. I think first I'll write it to use 200p14s and then think about whether I can compact it to 1. Because like the amount of data it needs would fit, but I can't do like an automatic shuffle of numbers upward to write the newest one to the position. Like, I'd have to set the address every single time I wrote something to it and keep track of what that address is. Or, like, read the address and do a wraparound myself. That sounds terrible. Much easier to just keep recording, read the address, subtract 6, write the address, and then report those. I think that's going to be more efficient on every axis. Yeah. Power, lines of code, and cost because of the extra lines of code that would require more microcontrollers for doing the other thing. But we'll see how the dynamics work once I actually get into the code. Maybe I'll have room to write both sides and manage that fully. So every tick... Let's start with, okay, now... Yeah, I can do this. So one MC4000 should be able to do all these jobs, right? It's gonna be some super ugly wiring. How will I even do it? I hate it already. But this does appear to do what I desire there. So you never need to touch the address. Someone else will read it. Actually... Well, so move P0, X0. So this is sonar. I have no good place to put this note. I wanted to label this, but I just can't. This is sonar, this is magnetic. It's clear enough. The 1 goes to the 1, the 0 goes to the 0. Move P0, X0. Move P1, X1, sleep 1. Well, there's like a ton of extra room in U. Got this spacious 9 instructions. Plenty to stretch out in. So if I have another task that you could do, you can do it there. I could certainly keep just one address value for both of those. They can stay in sync. That'd be fine. In this number of... No, it just complicates everything more. If it... Maybe I'll try an alternate solution using only one, like the challenge run of this is use only one 100p 14. But right now that just doesn't feel like it makes sense to me. I want to get you more to the left. Is there an easy way to do that? Oh, actually, I'd really prefer... I feel like I would... Oh shoot, I can't do that because of the way P1 is routed. I feel like I'd prefer to have your data line... Yeah, I need to read the address, so this needs to be on the same side as what I'm reading from over here, because another microcontroller is going to listen to this. This is non-blocking, and is going to read from these separately from this. These are all non-blocking. All right. Wiring. Wiring is wrong. X1 routes to D1 here, like that. X0 routes to D1 here. How will I? I guess I can do this. And then bridge for that. Sure, that works. Could I do better if I... No, it's fine. Alright, cool. So, here's your D1, here's your that. So the right side of those is what's going to be used. I'm going to go ahead and just put a big boy here now. Not enough X buses. If I replaced this with a big boy, and could request one side of those, I would only need the connections to those from here. That seems very reasonable. Let's do that. Part connected to self. Yeah, it sure is. Alright, so you're obviously P0 now. You're connected to the wrong pin type. Oh, you have no route to get through there now. I've trapped you. Alright, I'm gonna cheat. That won't work. Nope. I have an impasse here. There is no way to bridge both of these to simple pins anymore. Okay. Well. So layout's already challenging. Actually, what if I would... Yeah, part connected to self, I know, shush. I can put this a little lefter. X0 connected to something going over here. P1 connected to nothing. Oh yeah, no, that's connected to that. That's the bridge. So P1 is sonar. P0 is magnetic. X1's not going to do anything. I don't think I need that many X pins, just the 3. What was my plan with what I'm doing here? I forgot. Pin is not connected. X1. Okay, yeah, so this is... Okay, so this is supposed to be sonar. That's P1 to X0. This is a lot messier now. This is... So magnetic is P0, which goes to X3. Okay. So you always do that. So I can't test if there's input coming in on an X-bus line without sleeping. Right? Right. So I always must send you a command, huh? That's fine, I guess. I don't like it, though. So the idea would be that this microcontroller would communicate with you. Hold on, I can't manage the address lines with this. And my data line's now going to the left side, which is no good. I've made a big mess here. The idea was you would listen to the radio and decide when to request data from this, and it would read it from there. Alright, well, I guess I can do this. And you would manage the address lines, I suppose, but again, not enough X. Okay, so what I need to think about first is I/O pins. Like, responsibility here splits up based on I/O pins available. Managing these. Because of I/O pins, I think I really do want just one of these. But I already know I'm nowhere near the instruction space to be able to manage both sides of these. Wrap around appropriately, both for writing and reading. The idea was going to be that this uses one X-bus to communicate with that, which uses as many as it needs to use. So it splits the one X-bus to potentially 3, which is not useful, so 2. Communicates with these and sends back values. How many pins do you need? Right, organized by pin. You need... Yeah, you have 3 inputs and outputs. TX, RX, security module. And then this. You got no simple I/O. So not enough pins are connected. It is currently impossible because I have no access to the address lines. The number of lines it would take just to write to one side of the... Well, maybe that's fine. Maybe I can just have this write to a single... Well, this does it have to report like its position? No, I don't want to re-implement the addressing of these. I want to have 2 of them. But then that means I have a pin limitation. Like, I want to let these manage their own address pointers. Because that behavior is kind of complicated and expensive because I need, like, an instruction to add to an accumulated value, an instruction to... Maybe a lot of this simplifies if I have 2 controllers, one for sonar, one for magnetic. Yeah, look at this program. I want to split these 2 lines into 2 controllers. And all the downstream stuff they're going to have to do. So 2 MC4000s, simple pin for sonar, 2 X bus for those things. Idea. I don't love it. It's going to be real power inefficient. Ugh. My idea was, since this is going nowhere basically, I'm just gonna just like wipe the board. Can I do that? Sure, totally. Trash. Try again. My idea was... Well, I had one once. Wonder what my idea was. Oh yeah, that's right. So I would have X bus... Oh, these don't have enough pins for managing address space. Shoot. My idea was to have these both connected to the same X bus line. When you want to request data, you would do essentially what this is doing with sending out an ID number, and whoever wants that ID number will respond to it. And I can do that with the simple pins. Ooh, cool. I like that. Okay, so I'll set a simple pin, this simple pin to some value that identifies either this or this. Each tick, it will test that pin for its ID value, and if this has set it to the value that means send me some data over XBus, it'll then send some data over XBus. Only problem is I don't have address control, because that already runs me out of pins. So these would have to both be MC6000s. Okay, so let's just do the expensive solution that might work and see if it does indeed work. And then maybe be able to improve upon it later. Wow, gross, I hate this. Ew. This is yucky. That's what's happening though. Alright, your X1 will communicate with this. So will your P1. How am I going to fit all that in addition to all this? Yeah, it should be possible. I can do that. I'm going to need all your XBus pins though. So let's go left a little more. So that connects to the X1 and the X1. This X1's gonna connect to this thing. Sure. Sure. P0 connects to this P1 and also this P1. How will that happen? By everything moving to the right, even more. Wire routing's fun. It just feels so weird to be task switching so often in these puzzles to like, okay, I got this code thing I want to accomplish, but now I really need to... now I have this going on. Okay, so this wire routing doesn't work with the P1 to that. It just doesn't work. So to make it work, I would instead... Yeah, so task switching. I have like... I have to think about organization and code, and then suddenly spatial layout comes into the picture, and it's interesting. Okay, so you're the wrong XBus input, but I can make you the right one by doing something like this. Just put that there. All right, X0 is the ID module. X1 is communication to my storage. P0 is the other communication is like activation for my storage. And then, okay, yes, so this is like a lines of code optimized solution, I think is what I'm going toward here, because the number of lines should be relatively small here. P1 doesn't get used, X0 on these doesn't get used, every other pin does. Okay, so let's write a program. Let's write this one first. You're gonna be 1, you're gonna be 2, 0 is nobody. As far as like the number I put on the simple pin to activate. So, this is all non-blocking. Tech X2, the RX, X0, the ID module. So if my ID is being requested, then you have another number for me. Oh, check it out! 1 and 2, the exact values I was assigning to these. So move, plus move, X2, actually, probably just like minus jump weight. That's a semicolon, wrong kind. That's still a semicolon, there we go. Move X2, P0. Alright, so that, right, I don't need this anymore. So that activates one of these. When I'm done, I need to also move 0 to P0 to reset that. Okay, and then move X1. X3. And am I thinking of this right that I can just do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that might be the entirety of your job. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm not even going to count to 6, I'm just going to put 6 lines in, so much for line count optimized. I'll bet counting would take as many lines or more, though. Let's see how many it would take to roll that loop. Move 6 ACK, tech ACK 0, minus sub 1, minus move X1, X3, minus jump loop. That would save 1 line, but it would take a lot more power. Alright, so we're doing power efficiency, I guess. Okay, so U. Move P0, X2. Tech P1, ooh, this needs to not happen too early. Do I need some NOPs in here? Because that has to happen in the same tick. Maybe I should just communicate an X bus, because I can just move to... Yeah, this whole simple pin thing is bad for timing, but it's good for power efficiency. Maybe I'll NOP for a bit. How many NOPs would it take to synchronize with this going off? How many... Okay, so how many of these... How many of these instructions... Because some instructions seem to have to wait a tick for I/O. How many of these instructions would go off by the time I got to that tech there? Tech X2, 0, jump weight. Okay, so it's not happening. Move P0, X2. Why'd this go earlier? Because like I/O took a moment for that? It's not your ID, so you jump to wait. Okay, this is your ID. You're sitting there and move P0, X2. Move X2, P0. The pin is set by the time you get to that... Oh cool, I can do it. Without the NOPs. Well, isn't that handy for timing? It just works. Okay, so sleep 1. No, not... Tech P11. If you're reporting, move X3 AC, sub 6. Move AC, X3, move X2, X1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, year 1, year 2. I move my data around. So yeah, this is absolutely cost optimized. Sorry, no. The other axis. Power optimized. Like, this should have extremely good power usage. Do I think so? This should have pretty good power usage. Power usage is what this will be best at. Cost will be poor because I have 3 MC6000s when I could definitely do with less, and 2 of these when I could technically do with less. Lines of code is inefficient, but it was simple to write, and I think it'll be power efficient. Will it work though, or have I overlooked something? So x2 does equal x0. I activate number 1, which is the sonar. Tech P11 should be true. Tech P12 is false. X3 goes to AC. Okay, so read the address pointer. Subtract 6 from it, put it back. So previous 6. And then just send 6 values over here, which in turn sends 6 values over here. It's sending it over the X1 line, which is connected to this, but that's not reading, so the data will definitely go there. And it works great. Okay. So yeah. That's the easy to think about and probably power efficient solution. Cost will be bad, lines of codes will be bad. Power usage is at a peak, other things are high. Okay, so there was definitely a way to do these two better while doing this one as well. Okay, I believe it. I think I'm okay with this. Like, yeah, the axis I really optimized for was my own time. This was the easy to think about solution. So this graph over here was way over on the left. The one that doesn't exist. Well, this is an occasion for some pride. Mr. Sun very specifically praised Longtongue Engineering when he took delivery of these components. Let's give ourselves a pat on the back. I feel like we're going to play a big role in his future plans. Represent! So yeah, during that puzzle I had a lot of ideas for how to do this differently. Managing, like, stuffing both sonar and magnetic into the same 100p14 I think would be an interesting challenge, but I suspect it would not look better on the graphs. That might be something fun to do as an interesting challenge, though. I'd like to do that and see what it would take to do it. So if I end up doing, like, a second pass on these puzzles, I'm putting this one on my list for that, like, not even optimizing for anything? I guess that's a cost optimization, maybe. If I could reduce the number of microcontrollers by doing it, which maybe I could. I find that suspect, though. I'm not sure I'd be able to actually do that. But yeah, this is an easy to think about, easy solution to do, and I'm quite satisfied with that. I usually don't get to do something that straightforward in this game. Maybe I could more often if I would just, like, compromise on stuff like, sure, yeah, just copy and paste this line 6 times. Sure, yeah, just get 2 identical microcontrollers except for 1 integer. Yeah, so this is how easy things can go if I just decide not to care about the graphs and just want to do something quick. Alright, cool stuff. See you next time for spoiler blocking headphones.